guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. As I said, this review will not have any spoilers in it, but I'm going to be doing a spoilery discussion video, which I will link down below. This is my first Colleen Hoover book, and many of you know that Colleen Hoover mostly writes new adult fiction. This one is technically a young adult fiction, but it definitely has new adult elements. I would almost put it between young adult and new adult. So it has sex in it, guys. It does. So it's more upper YA to me. Hopeless is about our main character, Sky, and she is homeschooled for the majority of her life, but for her senior year, she wants to go to the same school as her best friend, and she wants to go into the normal world and kind of experience it before she goes away to college. So right before school starts, she actually runs into this guy, Dean Holder, and he kind of takes an interest in her, and she finds him very interesting, but she's heard mixed things about him, etc., etc. And she finds out that her best friend is actually not going to be going to school with her because her best friend is studying abroad. So she is kind of reeling a little bit, and it's kind of her starting school and everything else and kind of all these different things that unfold in her life and some of the things that pop up from her past and how she deals with that and all these things that are coming out. That's very vague because this is kind of a very vague story. I can't say much without spoiling some things. There are a lot of twists and turns in here and a lot of things that would ruin the story if I told you outright, so I can't really go into much more detail than that. But let's just say that everything is not what it seems. This does have trigger warnings for suicide, depression, and sexual assault. So as far as this story, I was not completely blown away by it. I really enjoyed Colleen Hoover's writing. I thought it was very fast-paced and addictive, and even on the points when I wasn't really enjoying the story, I still really wanted to pick it up all the time, but the story itself I wasn't personally a very big fan of. I almost found the story a little too dark at times, and I found it a little too overwhelming, and some of the things that happened just piled up so much that it did start to feel to me like a Lifetime movie, you know, where it's so much and there's so much going on and it just never ends. When you think they've reached like the thing that's the biggest deal, it goes above that, and it's just a little too much for me personally. Also, as many of you know, I am a social worker and I work in foster care, so certain topics I see all the time, and reading about them, one, I don't want to because I deal with it in my daily work life, so I really don't want to read about it afterwards. And two, since I've experienced like the real stories from real people, when I read a fictional kind of experience like that, I find it just not real to me. Like, it takes a lot for that kind of situation to be realistic to me because I've heard like actually from the mouths of victims' stories. So for me personally, this was not the kind of story for me. As far as the characters, I did like Sky, and she has a really good relationship with her best friend, which I really enjoyed. They talk about more than just boys. Boys are our main topic, obviously, in a story like this, but I do think they had a really good friendship. Even though her best friend was long distance for the majority of the story, I found that they had a very realistic relationship and a very loving relationship, and I really enjoyed that element. As far as our male love interest, Dean, wasn't a huge fan of him. At the beginning, there are some things that make him seem a little all over the place and a little mood swingy, and those things are kind of explained later, but at the beginning I found him a little off-putting because of that, because you guys know how I felt about Travis Maddox from Beautiful Disaster, and while he is not anything like that and he's not that bad, it still gave me a little bit of glimpses of that. So I didn't like him at the beginning, and then when things started being revealed, he almost did like a 180 and got like too mushy and too perfect, and I just am not a fan of too perfect people. You know, I need a little bit more complexity, and he was just so great and so good that I found it hard to believe, and I just couldn't connect to them as much as I had hoped. And while I'm a person that is okay with sexual content in books, even YA books, I'm generally okay with it depending on how it's handled, I didn't like a lot of it in here, and I will talk about that more in my discussion video, which again, I'll be linking down below, but I felt like some of it was a little bit inappropriate. So that was also not fun for me to read when you have something that is supposed to be kind of like an enjoyable scene and you're just kind of like, like I didn't like it. I'm sorry, I didn't like it. So while I really love the writing and I found this story pretty addictive, it also was very draining and just not realistic to me, a little bit too over the top, a little bit too dramatic, and it just personally was not for me. So for that I gave it between 2 and 3 stars. I feel like it was good, but it wasn't what I was hoping, and again, Colleen Hoover is so hyped, so I was expecting a little bit more from this, but I think I'm going to enjoy her other books a lot more because the topics aren't the same as are covered in here, so I think I'll enjoy her other books way more. I have a few other ones waiting on my shelf for me to read, so I think I'm going to enjoy those. So don't chase me with pitchforks, guys. I'll try more by her, I promise. But this one just wasn't personally for me. Alright guys, that is it for my spoiler-free review. Comment down below, let me know if you have read Hopeless and what you thought of it, and let me know if you have read more Colleen Hoover, what your favorite is. I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna say Maybe Someday or Ugly Love, because those are like everyone's favorite. And trust me, I'm going to read them. I think I'm going to love them. But comment down below and let me know what your favorite is. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!